From wild bears tearing up fairways to aggressive eagles attacking golf players, these are the most terrifying animal encounters ever recorded on the golf course. And first we start with an unexpected guest at the 2010 Honda Classic, one with feathers, sharp talons, and a flair for live television. So everything's going normally. The tournament is being covered as usual, when suddenly, a hawk decides it's time for a career change. This hawk had its eyes set on something specific, one of the PGA Tour's microphones. But this wasn't a quick grab-and-go situation. No, this determined bird of prey spent quite some time trying to figure out how to make off with this piece of broadcasting equipment. The look on its face when it couldn't get the microphone free from its tethered spot? Priceless! You could almost see the frustration building as it tugged and pulled, determined to add audio equipment to its usual diet of mice and small rodents. The whole scene was caught on camera, and let me tell you, watching this hawk realize that polyester doesn't taste nearly as good as its usual prey, well, that's the kind of entertainment you just can't script. After a few more unsuccessful attempts, our feathered friend finally decided enough was enough and flew off. For number 11, we're heading to Puerto Rico, where a routine tournament round suddenly transformed into something straight out of Jurassic Park. But trust me, the beast lurking on this course was very real. The year was 2014, and professional golfer Andrew Loop was having the round of his life at the Puerto Rico Open. The man was unstoppable, 5 under after 6 holes. He was climbing up that leaderboard like a man possessed. But then, on the 16th hole, something happened. Loop's ball is sitting perfectly on the green, when suddenly, an iguana. But not just any iguana. This one had a mission. Sure, it wasn't winning any beauty pageants. It was sporting a bobbed tail, about a third of it missing, probably from a close encounter with some other island predator. But what it lacked in tail length, it made up for in determination. This hungry reptile had spotted Loop's golf ball and decided it had found the perfect snack. A pristine white egg just sitting there on the green. First, it tried to pick up the ball. When that didn't work, it started pushing it around with its nose. Finally, the iguana realized that this egg wasn't going to be the tasty snack it had hoped for. So, it scampered back into the protective jungle along the fairway, leaving behind a very bemused golfer and an equally entertained crowd. Moving on to number 10. Get ready for a terrifying reminder that those so-called peaceful geese at your local park are actually feathered nightmares waiting to strike. It's April 21st, 2018, at the Wolf Creek Golf Course in Adrian, Michigan. High school golfer Isaac Cooling is just walking down the fairway during a tournament, maybe thinking about his next shot or his homework. You know, normal high school stuff. What he wasn't thinking about the fact that he was about to become internet famous in the most unexpected way possible. Out of nowhere, a goose appeared behind the group. But this one, well, this one had woken up that morning and chosen violence. What happened next was captured in a series of photographs that would go viral really fast. The goose launched itself at Isaac like a feathered missile. The poor kid tried to run, wouldn't you? But this goose was determined to make its point. And make its point? It did. The photos show Isaac literally being knocked to the ground by this airborne attacker, his golf clubs scattered everywhere like pickup sticks. And just like that, Isaac learned the hard way that when a goose wants the fairway, you give it the fairway. For number 9, we're heading to one of golf's most iconic venues, TPC Sawgrass, home of the Players' Championship. The year is 1998, and Brad Fable is, well, let me set the scene. The 17th hole at TPC Sawgrass is already famous, or infamous depending on how you look at it. Known as the Island Green, it's one of the most recognizable and intimidating holes in all of golf. Surrounded by water on all sides, it's claimed countless golf balls over the years. But on this particular day, it wasn't the water that Fable needed to worry about. It was the local wildlife. He hit what looked like a perfect shot onto the green. The ball landed safely, and for a moment, everything seemed normal. Then, enter our feathered friend. A seagull landed near Fable's ball and started showing an unusual interest in it. After a few experimental pecks, the bird decided this white spherical object was exactly what it had been looking for. With surprising dexterity, it picked up the ball in its beak, and then it took flight. The gallery watched in a mixture of amusement and disbelief as this avian thief attempted its great golf ball heist. But karma, or perhaps just physics, had other ideas. As the bird flew over the water hazard, the ball slipped from its beak and plunged into the water. That's bad luck for the bird, of course. But what about Brad Fable? Did he just lose his ball to a seagull with a vendetta? Thankfully, the rules of golf had his back. Since an outside influence, aka one very confused bird, had interfered, Fable was allowed to replace his ball at its original spot without penalty. So while the seagull's heist ultimately failed, Fable at least got a mulligan, though probably with a story way more memorable than his actual round that day. Next up, number 8. And this one is going to hurt, and not just for the person it happened to. But before we move on, as you may know, I try to reach my goal of 20,000 subs by my birthday in March. Subscribing to the channel would help me a lot. I appreciate it. Alright, let's get into it. It was the opening round of the 2024 US Women's Open at Lancaster Country Club, and for Icy Gabsa, everything seemed set for just another day of golf. But on the par 3 12th hole, as she lined up her tee shot, fate had a different plan. What happened next was a 1 in a trillion moment that left fans and commentators absolutely speechless. Here's what shocked everyone. Gabsa steadied herself, took her swing, and watched as the ball took off with perfect form, soaring towards the green. The crowd followed the ball's arc in quiet anticipation, until something utterly improbable happened. Out of nowhere, a bird swooped across the fairway, seemingly appearing in slow motion, and collided directly with Gabsa's ball. The ball struck the bird mid-flight, sending it spiraling down to the ground, leaving the entire course silent. Captured live on television, the moment immediately drew comparisons to Randy Johnson's infamous 2001 baseball pitch that met the same fateful end for an unsuspecting bird. Talk about bad timing. That poor bird definitely picked the wrong moment for a flyby. Now at lucky number 7, we're diving straight into the wild side of golf, New Orleans style. The Zurich Classic at TPC Louisiana isn't just about bunkers, water hazards, or thick rough. No, this course has something way more terrifying lurking in the shadows. Alligators. Lots and lots of alligators, and they're big. Let me paint you a picture of what happened in April 2024. It's the opening round, and the team of Paul Barjan and Sam Stevens is at the par 3 17th hole. Stevens is getting ready to tee off when suddenly, movement. A full-sized alligator, easily 10 feet long, casually strolls just 3 feet in front of the tee box. Not sprinting, not startled, just taking a leisurely walk like it owns the place. And let's be honest, it does. Now, most sports have rain delays, some have wind delays, but an alligator delay? That's pure TPC Louisiana. The group had to wait 7 minutes while this prehistoric party crasher took its sweet time crossing the course. But wait, this isn't even the wildest gator story from this place. You see, TPC Louisiana has a bit of a celebrity resident. Or had, I should say. A legendary alligator named Tripod, who'd been hanging around the course since it opened in 2004. And why was he called Tripod? Well, because he was missing his right front leg. This 11-foot-long, 3-legged apex predator became such a beloved figure that they even put up a statue of him near the 18th fairway. And Tripod wasn't alone either. The course is home to about 20 alligators at any given time. So next time you're complaining about a water hazard, just remember, at TPC Louisiana, the real hazards bite back. Continuing to number 6, we're taking a sharp turn from the terrifying creatures to the adorable. The 2013 President's Cup at Muirfield Village Golf Club in Dublin, Ohio, gave us one of the most unexpected mascots in golf history. And it all started with U.S. Assistant Captain Davis Love making an unusual discovery on the second hole. Now, when you think of golf course wildlife, squirrels probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind. But on this particular day, a baby squirrel would steal not just the show, but also the hearts of the entire U.S. team. Davis, an avid hunter and outdoorsman, found this little creature and, instead of shooing it away, decided to adopt it as a good luck charm. The team even gave it a name, Sammy. But the real magic happened when Lindsey Vonn, who was dating Tiger Woods at the time, decided to have a little fun. Yes, the Tiger Woods, arguably the most focused and intense player in golf history. Behind him, Vonn sneaks up and takes Sammy from Davis' pocket and places it right on Tiger's neck. Now, that's a really adorable pic of Tiger for you guys. For number 5, we're heading way up north to Anchorage, Alaska, where golf takes on a whole new level of wild. And when I say wild, I mean wild. We've got not one, but 2 incredible bear encounters to share from the Moose Run Creek Golf Course. First up, it's August 2018. David Andrews and his friends are playing the 17th hole when suddenly 2 black bear cubs dash across the grass. Now, if you know anything about bears, you know that where there are cubs, there's usually a mama bear not far behind. And sure enough, here comes Mama, sauntering across the course like she owns the place. The cubs, being cubs, start playing with the flagpole while Mama Bear continues her casual stroll. One of the cubs even spots Andrew's golf ball and decides it's the perfect souvenir. Just picks it up and disappears into the trees with it. But I didn't say it was the only time with bears, did I? Fast forward to May 2017, and we've got Gary Cox playing around when a black bear decides to join his game. Now, this bear wasn't interested in stealing balls. No, this one looked like it was trying to be helpful. It actually approached the flag as if it was going to hold it for Cox while he putted. Cox and his friend tried making some noise to scare the bear away, but this particular bear, totally unfazed. Instead of running off, it followed them for about 100 yards to the next hole. This was some persistent playing partner. Moving to number 4, we've got something that'll really get you buzzing. Literally. It's the 2023 Mexico Open. Everything's going smooth when suddenly, bees. Not just a few bees. We're talking about an entire swarm that decided to crash the party. Erik van Rooyen was just standing there, getting ready for his approach shot at Vidanta Velarda. Everything seems normal when, out of nowhere, and I mean absolutely nowhere, this massive swarm of bees just shows up, and all hell breaks loose. You know it's serious when you can hear someone in the background just saying, "Watch out, bees," like some kind of terrified mantra. The scene that unfolded next looked more like a military training exercise than a golf tournament. Professional golfers diving for cover, cameramen running away, everyone hitting the deck. The commentators called it a fog of bees that just blew through the area. When was the last time you heard those words together? The craziest part? Despite this invasion of angry insects, somehow nobody got stung. Sliding into our top 3, and we've got a moment from the 2014 Crowne Plaza Invitational that I can only describe as really bad timing. See, we have Jimmy Walker having a solid tournament at Colonial Country Club, tied for 4th and very much in the hunt. Everything was going great until he reached the 17th hole during his second round. Now, the 17th is a shorter par 4, so Walker pulled out an iron for his tee shot. The swing was perfect, the ball's trajectory was beautiful, and then contact. But not with the ground, not with a tree. No, Walker's ball had just achieved something incredibly rare. It had hit a bird in mid-flight. At first, nobody was even sure what had happened. They had to replay it in slow motion. The ball had definitely made contact with our unfortunate feathered friend, though remarkably, it seemed to just graze the bird. The ball ended up in the rough, but amazingly, Walker managed to get his approach shot onto the front of the green and 2-putt for par. But if you thought that bee story was intense, wait until you hear number 2. We're traveling back to 2014 to the Maybank Malaysian Open, where Pablo Larrazabal faced one of the most terrifying moments of his career. It started like any other round. Larrazabal was playing well, focused on his game. But then, something strange happened on the 5th hole. The air suddenly seemed thicker, and out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something swarming around him. A swarm of massive hornets, 3 times the size of bees, suddenly attacked him. About 30 to 40 hornets descended on him, and in panic, his caddy yelled for him to run. But the hornets wouldn't let up. Fellow players shouted for him to jump into the water hazard, and without hesitation, Pablo threw down his scorecard, ripped off his shoes, and dived into the lake. Reflecting on the incident later, Pablo revealed that the hornets sprayed pheromones on him, attracting more of the swarm. He was stung more than 20 times on the back of his neck, but his hat saved him from even more stings. He confessed, "If I didn't have a hat, I would be dead." Thanks to quick thinking and the advice of Bouler's caddy, Pablo avoided what could have been a life-threatening situation. And finally, for number 1, we're ending with what feels like an episode straight out of Dora the Explorer. You know, the one where she has to stop that sneaky fox? But instead of swiping backpacks, this little rascal had a much more sophisticated taste. This 6-month-old fox isn't interested in hunting for mice or digging through garbage bins. No, this clever little creature has developed a very specific hobby: collecting golf balls. But here's the thing. Some say that this brazen little thief would sneak onto the course and start hunting for balls left behind by players from the day before. But the best part? Once this little fox got hold of a golf ball, it started playing with it just like a puppy would, bouncing around, tossing the ball, pouncing on it playfully. It is absolutely adorable watching this wild fox act just like someone's pet dog with their favorite toy. Oh, and before you go, we have another great video waiting for you, right in the middle of the screen. Enjoy!